So welcome, our beloved Dr. Pierre. I so appreciate your consistent visionary leadership, your tenacity, and all that you do for so many, and your academic rigor, and all that you bring to our community and various ecosystems globally across the diaspora. And as always at SETC, we begin all things by acknowledging and giving thanks to our Creator. We acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, Dr. Pierre, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers and share a bit about your remarkable work, sir?
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me here, sir. Mr. Basile, my name is Justine Pierre. I'm originally from the Caribbean, and I've been living here for almost 40 years, for a very long time, since in the 80s. I am a researcher. In terms of what we conduct, I'm the managing director of a company by the name of Dunn, Pierre, Barnett Company Ltd. And also we have a non-profit organization by the name of CANCARO, which is Canadian. It's a research company that we do research, but also we specifically deal with research in issues relating to human trafficking. So what we do is that at Dunn, Pierre, Barnett and Company, we are the largest Black research firm in Canada. We have done upwards of 300 projects on the Black population in 40 countries. So we have conducted more research on the Black community than maybe than most other organizations within Canada. So we are a full service management consultant and technology firm. We specialize in the collection, in the dissemination and analysis of administrative and labor force data on diverse populations. So that's including the Black, Indigenous, people of color in the US and the Caribbean and most other countries. We collect data, what is called we have most our administrative data, all the labor market data, but we specifically collect a lot of election data. So any country that has elections, for example, we will have that database, and we use data, GPS, to really weaponize that database and collect data on that. So what we do as an organization, we also, as I said, in data collection, statistics research, we conduct labor market needs assessments, labor force survey, we into migration, artificial intelligence, technical and vocational education. But what makes us different is that we collect a lot of Black data. So we have a database called the Black Data and Information Portal, and this portal we've been collecting data on Black people for maybe for the last 400-500 years, all type of data on Black people. We also realize that there is a lot of opportunities in Black data, and so far we have persons who are interested in consuming those data. Those data, we have about 640,000 people who are registered on the portal. And our main job as a firm now is to try getting these people from the registration into subscription. And, so we would like persons to know about us. We have, as a firm, we're growing as a firm. We do projects all over the world. We just got a contract to do the Guyana National Skills Audit, which is, Guyana is booming right now, and we're down there to help the government, help the country plan to see what is needed in the country. And that's why most of our surveys are done to the World Bank standard. So all our surveys are coded in both NASIC and ISIC codes. So we have been in this business for a while. And maybe I'll stop here, and if there's any other questions, you can ask me.
That's incredible, sir. I really appreciate your consistent leadership, and just in the time we're in, there's so much work happening on the ground. SETC co-founded the Canadian Center for Nonprofit Digital Resilience with some remarkable colleagues, the Tamarack Institute, the Digital Governance Council, N10, Imagine Canada, the Indigenous Peoples Resilience Fund. There's the Decolonizing Data Initiative. That's a remarkable group of colleagues. There's the BDC, the Black Data Collective. So there's all this work happening around data. And sometimes people say data is the new oil, which is
Yes.
unfortunate because data, I feel, should be commodified. I feel like data is more of it's like water. It's a public good. It's a public service, and I think that you are doing that. You are bringing data to the people in a way that can transform lives and transform communities, but more importantly, informs best practice. So
Right.
your 300 projects across the globe is not just inspiring, it's incredible. And it's a perfect segue to my next question. What's inspiring you right now in terms of your work? What has you curious or what's keeping you up at night, sir?
Okay, very good question. Yeah, so what keeps me up at night is the issue of the Black people in Canada. We feel that there is I believe there is a mismatch. There is concerns. Every country in the world, for example, the World Bank has been conducting a study called a labor market information system, a labor market needs assessment. So every developing country from 1950 to 2023, 2024 have done what is called a labor market needs assessment. It's a fundamental survey. The World Bank, came up with that idea. Japan was one of the first countries to conduct this labor market needs assessment, and we see where Japan is today. Companies like India, Rwanda, Singapore, all these countries, from literally nothing to development. But what would the concerns we have now in Canada is that a labor market needs assessment has never been done in the history of Canada on Black people. And we find that it's a fundamental flaw within the statistic system, within the government, because if you do not have data, you cannot make decisions, you cannot plan. And what we see in the country now is that we as Black people, data, there are about 92 organizations that collect data, and less than 10% or even 15% are Black people. So we need to know who we are. As a Black person, we do not know who we are. We do not have enough data set, and some of the data set that we collect are very small, 100 firms, 200 firms. There are 1.5 million people here in Canada. We are an average Black person. The age of an average Black person is 29.6 years, and the age of a regular Canadian is 42. So we are the youngest population. They cannot do without us. We are the labor force of the future. But yet, we don't have enough data. Okay, people do not know. Environics did a study in 2019. They said that we as Black people, we in terms of income, we produce about $19 billion per year. However, none of that stays in the community because we do not know the potential. So I believe, just as the World Bank and many other organizations, 135 countries say that in order for you to develop your country, in order for you to develop your community, you must get a labor market needs assessment. And we were seeing that a labor market needs assessment has never been done on the history of on Black people anywhere in Canada. And that's what our goal, according to the World Bank, I'm not saying that, but according to the world, we need the fundamental survey before finance and before anything. The fundamental survey is that labor market needs assessment, because with that labor market needs assessment, you will know what skills you have, what potentials you have, where Black people are, what school that has the Black, their best teachers or the best whatever, where is the best community, what are the potential we have. All of that will be needed. And other communities, even though other communities conduct their labor market needs assessment, their Filipino communities and other communities, we have never yet done that. So our goal, okay, so just some basic data from what we have collected. So we have been collecting these type of data since 2015. We do a labor force survey. We collect data on about 2,900 organizations. So, for example, there are 1.5 million people. There are 27,640 Black businesses. So we have what is called a business to population ratio. of 2.6%. But the average Canadian, the business to population ratio is 15%. So it means, just from the data, it means that we as a people, we cannot employ our youths. We cannot employ our children that leave school. We cannot employ them because we do not have enough businesses. So the greatest employer of Jews are Jewish businesses. The greatest employer of white people are white businesses. The greatest employer of Asians are Asian businesses. But the greatest employer of Black people are not Black businesses. So we have to change that. And this is the reason why we have to collect the data. And this is the reason why you need organizations like us who have the experience in conducting these labor market needs assessments, not only in Canada, but all over in the world. Now we're conducting one in Ghana. Ghana is booming. And now the government of Ghana invited us. We won the contract to go and collect to conduct this national skills audit with them. We just won a project in St. Lucia to do the same thing. And this project was I mean, some of the big guys, the Ernst and Young and all these big firms applied to do it. We were successful. So as I said, we are known outside of Canada, but to get work in Canada is a total different story. And
so that's a perfect segue to my next question. What challenges and barriers do you face in your work, and what are some of the approaches you and your colleagues are taking to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
Good. So first of all, some of the challenges, as I said, the challenges is expansion. The development aid businesses we're in, we're like the only maybe Black organization who have really on a who are some sort of competitor. We compete with organizations like McKinsey, like Ernst and Young, Pricewaterhouse, Deloitte, all the big guys. Okay, and because it's a $40 billion industry, the challenge we have is to get into this business. It takes a lot of financing. For example, if you have a project over a certain amount, let's say $1 million or 500,000, whatever, there is what is called a bond has to be put up. So let's say, for example, you have a project for $1 million, you have to put up maybe a 30% bond, so that's $300,000. So you have to get $300,000 from your own money to put up as a security. That money has to be there until 6 months after the project is completed before you get your money back. So these are some of the challenges we have. Expansion. So we have expansion challenges. Not to say that we cannot do the work, because we win 83% of all our proposals. So we're pretty good at what we do. But the challenge is this whole financial arrangement. And as such, the Business Development Bank came in to provide some assistance to us. Also, the EDC, the Export Development Corporation, came in to provide these sort of challenges to provide. Bank of Montreal had been very helpful. They provide some finance. And however, in order to expand, we need more financing. We need, we call it on hopefully, Black investors to come in. We're looking to invest. If we do that, we looking to employ maybe 500,000 Black people, because without us, how would we as a Black organization get the ability to learn about research and to conduct research on a high level? Because when we do our coding or we do our research, it's based on international standards. It's based on World Bank standard, UN standard, and we are already a supplier to the UN and the World Bank for this kind of work. So we're asking persons to start investing in Black organization. 8 out of 10 Black organization will fail within the next 4 years, within 4 years of operation, because they do not have the necessary financing. And as I said, so we're looking for the support of the the wider Black community to assist us in moving forward.
That's incredible. And thank you so much for all that context, my word. So my next question, do you have a set of key priorities right now in your work?
Yes. So what our main priority for the organization is obviously expansion. The main priority for the organization is to set up a system where we as an organization could help other Black organizations and persons, students, learn what we do. We're getting older. Most of us are in our 50s, and we want the young generation to be in the part of research. As I said, this research, the field, the development aid field, is a $400 billion industry. Okay, McKinsey and all these, they make 10 billion, 50 billion. There is huge opportunity. And remember that as based on data, if you are 62% of Black organizations have no white suppliers, in order for you to expand and increase it as a Black business, you must have non-Black suppliers. And also in order for you to succeed, you must have suppliers not only in Canada but outside in the world, like us. It's close to 74% of all our business comes from outside of Canada. Trinidad, Jamaica, Ghana, all the different countries. So we work, and that's what makes us different, and what makes us interesting is because we can do the work. The work is standardized, it's based on UN standard, and if there is a good proposal and you write it, most likely we will get it because of the experience. We have been in this business for over 30 years.
That's absolutely remarkable, sir. Absolutely remarkable. And just your ability to articulate some of these stats and the fact that you have a set of standards that are global is exemplary work. So my next question, how do you feel about the future of developmental aid internationally or domestically? Are you optimistic? Are you hopeful? Are you pessimistic? Like, obviously, structural racism exists, systemic oppression exists, anti-Black racism exists in terms of acquiring contracts and RFPs, requests for proposals. But how are you feeling about your expansion? Are you optimistic, pessimistic? Are you hopeful?
Very, very good question. Yes, yeah, we are very optimistic about our future. I believe that our goal is to go public, okay, or have an IPO. That's our main goal, because in order for you to succeed as any organization, you have to go public. I was listening to an interview with Jeff Bezos in 1994 when he started Amazon. People literally laughed at him and said, "This is one of the most crazy idea." He asked, he had no money. He asked 66 persons to lend him $50,000. Only 22 persons gave him money. That's how crazy this idea was. And most 15 of those persons are billionaires now. And we believe that we are in this stage. Black data is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We are one of the few agencies that have been collecting consistent labor market and immigration and other data on the Black population. We collect 34 major indicators and about 87 minor indicators. We have been collecting this thing. We have about 2,900 organizations that supply data to us, and we get data from everywhere. Dunn and Bradstreet, all the different types of we buy data. Also, what we know for sure is that we are the future of the world. We are the future labor force of the world. So therefore, they cannot do without us. It's just we now have to have the opportunity now to see that we are we have to work together. So the future is very, 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 very hopeful. And what it makes us also interested is that we are developing this Black data and information portal. It would be the depository of all data, labor market data on the Black population. So instead of it will be the source of all truth for Black data. Data on slavery, data on all in business statistics, all of that data. We put it, obviously we'll mix it with artificial intelligence and provide a safe place for Black organizations to communicate. And so far, we have about 600,000 people that are registered. We have not converted that registration into a subscription base, but hopefully funded. We needed the funding to use to convert these people. There is business in Black data. There is business in with Black people, and I think that we have an exciting future.
A remarkable future. Thank you so much, sir. So my second last question: what is your ultimate goal, and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleagues? Clearly, the Black Data Information Portal is one of those goals. But yeah, what is your ultimate goal, and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleagues?
Very good question. So our ultimate goal is to be a very large Black organization, to be a publicly traded organization, so that so to be a haven for Black people. That's our ultimate goal. Our next goal is to have enough. Have to be a source of excellence, source of truth for Black researchers and persons who are in this research industry, because we want to make sure that when you see a Black person, you do not see someone of a certain, on a condescending nature. We have we are one of the most educated set of people in the world after slavery, where no one had education. Within 30 years, close to 50% of all slaves who had the ability to read and write. That has never happened in the future of any other race. So we are the most educated people around, and we need to be proud of ourselves. And our goal, our company, if we get be a public organization, that will give us that ability to showcase our work and to provide a sustainable source of funding to help other Black organizations. And we want to do is to build our people. We only have 1.5 million, 1.1 million people are working. We have as I said, we have a business to population ratio of 2.6%. Our dependency ratio is about 47% because of the youthfulness of our community. Because so we who are working have to help those who are not working, and by giving us the opportunity, by letting people know who we are, we believe that we can do this. And this is why we reach out to organizations as yourself, Mr. Victor, so that you can promote our story, so that more and more Black people can or people can invest and help us achieve our goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to dovetail on that, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and viewers?
Yes. My closing thought, visitors and viewers, is to encourage your parliamentary representative, your minister, your government, your people to establish immediately a labor market needs assessment. We must have a labor market needs assessment for the Black community. And I repeat, we must have a labor market needs assessment. It's a foundational survey for planning. We want to start measuring Black people in Canada with other people from other countries. And there is no metrics right now to do that. We collect what is called the SDG goals. Okay. However, the labor market needs assessment is the fundamental survey to do that. And without that survey, 20 years from now, we'll still be in the same position. So labor market needs assessment. You let your minister, your government ministers, every politician, ask them, hey, if you get elected, get funding for this labor market needs assessment.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Merasi pa pa pa. I give thanks for your remarkable leadership, your tenacity, your resilience, your authenticity, and clear visionary leadership, Dr. Pierre. And as always at SETC, we close the way we began this conversation, this interview, by acknowledging, giving thanks to our creator, by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled our compassionate compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts, whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much, Dr. Pierre, for all that you do for so many. So appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.